Hi there, this is Amit Bhandari of TalkCondo.com, and today we are at CentreCourt Developments HQ, and we are with Shamez Virani, who is the president of CentreCourt Developments. So thank you so much for allowing us to speak with you. I know you've got a crazy schedule.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so Shamez, I wanted to talk to you about a few things today, a lot of ground to cover. First is about CentreCourt's development themselves. In a relatively short period of time, a lot of things that you guys have achieved. After that, I'd like to just in a nutshell, just get a perspective on how CentreCourt pick and choose their sites, and then slowly transition to Vaughan, Vaughan VMC, and after that Transit City, and what Transit City is all about and what that means to Vaughan.
Sure, that is a lot to cover.
I know it is.
All right.
But even before all that, I'd like to get to know you a bit more.
Sure.
Obviously, we worked for a number of years together. But your background, your story, and how you got into the real estate development world, and how you ended up at CentreCourt Development.
So my story in a nutshell, that I'll try to keep as condensed as possible given the number of things you want to cover today, is I've had an undergrad and a graduate degree in business. I started my early part of my career in finance and investment banking. Ended up moving back home. I'm born and raised in Calgary, moving back home to Calgary to join my family business, which was a real estate business. That was really started by my mother, who saved and scrapped and ended up kind of having a few investment properties. And then her and I went into business together at the time where the market in Calgary in 2009, 2010, when the market there really had a real cratering because of the financial crisis, the oil markets collapsing. So then I got to a point where I said, the market here was kind of slowed down on development, but I knew I loved it, even though the market didn't reward us for it, so to speak. So then decided it was the right time to go and do my MBA and move to New York, and studied at Columbia and did my MBA focused on real estate, and graduated from that program about 6 years ago. At the time I graduated, I was considering Toronto as one of the places I might live, and as a part of the process I met with a number of developers in Toronto and met with my now business partner Andrew Hoffman, who had just left a large real estate organization to found CentreCourt, and with the specific vision of doing high density, high rise condos, specifically in the downtown core, doing it with a lean team and really trying to execute at a level that outperformed our competition in the market. So I really liked a lot of the things he said when I originally met him, and we decided that we'd try to figure out an opportunity to work together, and that was back 6 years ago when we launched Peter Street Condos. And like you said, a lot has happened in our short history. We've completed now 2,000 units, all of them in terms of outcomes for all partners, all the way from the consultants to the city to the residents who live in the building, to most importantly the investors who purchased units in the building, who we view as partners in our project. They all have done exceptionally well. I think the rents that they're driving, things like that. I think that there's been really positive outcomes on our beginning, and I call it the beginning because I think kind of our first 6 years is really setting us up for the next 60 or 100, as we try to plan our business. And it's a really exciting time for our company. We're still in a very rapid pace of growth, and we continue to want to grab more market share and do great developments that really build our presence and importance and involvement in Toronto residential market.
Amazing. Such big fans of CentreCourt. So talking about CentreCourt specifically, killer sites, absolutely killer sites. You mentioned Peter Street Condos, Index Condos, Karma Condos, Axis, Core. How do you pick these sites?
I'll give a lot of credit to my partner Andrew, who does most of the heavy lifting on the front end of having relations with people who own land, having good relationships with brokers who are active in the market, knocking on doors, that sort of thing. We started with a very simple philosophy, which was we wanted to develop in very dense environments that had great transit infrastructure and great amenities. Right. That was it. So we kind of really have a simple philosophy that's where we want our developments to be. And in reality, ultimately, it's a very active market. The landowners in the city are smart, sophisticated people. So if you want to be in that space that we wanted to, and for the longest time prior to Transit City, we were really within that sort of defined downtown area. Right. So part of it is working really hard. Part of it is being willing to spend the money that it costs to acquire such properties. But ultimately, at the end of the day, we've always had sort of a very positive outlook on how the city is evolving and how the city is developing. And have a very optimistic view as to where condos pricing will move in the future over the long run, and that sort of underlies our ability to be able to be active in the market and acquire great sites and develop some very meaningful large-scale projects.
Awesome. So I mean, the general pattern has been exactly what you said: high density areas, close to high-speed transit or transit in Toronto.
Yeah.
But now, essentially, the next big one,
Yeah.
a huge development, essentially, is outside of Toronto.
Yeah.
So Vaughan.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that. What drew you to Vaughan? Talk to us a little bit about how that came about.
Yeah, that was again through Andrew, who had a relationship or had known Mitchell Goldhar of Smart Centers. Smart Centers owns 100 acres as a part that are 100 of the 400 acres of the Vaughan Metropolitan Centre master plan. And in my humble opinion, the most important 100 acres, because it's where the transit infrastructure, where the subway actually is located. Transit City is right next to that subway location. So what really drew us is when we heard about the opportunity and when we got to know the team at Smart REIT and understand their vision for the 100 acres that's called Smart Centers Place, of which Transit City is a part of. When we understood their vision for what they were planning to do there, listen, I'd be the first to tell you, I used to make the joke that I get a nosebleed when I go north of Bloor. We were very focused on downtown, but when we heard the vision of what's happening at Smart Centers Place and the 9-acre park and the quality of pedestrian experience that will be better than any part of the city, what's really happened here is there's 100 acres where there's a very passionate individual and a passionate organization about turning that into truly the next downtown in the GTA and making it the best downtown in the GTA, and really spending on the infrastructure that's required, building buildings of a very nice quality, materiality, architecture, design, but more importantly, getting the pedestrian experience right.
Usable space.
Yeah, and when you hear the Smart REIT team talk about it, they've spent a decade thinking about this and planning this out and getting the best consultants and thinking through hundreds, if not thousands, of iterations. So as people see when we unfold the sort of marketing campaign and more details on Transit City, what I think people will be most excited to see, and which is what I was most excited to see, is that this is the first residential building, but it is a part of such a broad, amazing master plan vision. Yeah. And that vision in today's market, in the need for housing in Toronto, that vision I believe is going to be realized a lot sooner than some may predict. And it started really, I think, about 2 years ago, approximately, maybe it was a year ago, the completion of the KPMG building. Yeah. That's very close to Transit City site. And that was Smart REIT's first project as a part of the 100-acre master
literally
plan.
Just south of the...
Yeah, it's probably 200 meters away from the entrance of Transit City. It's very close. Yeah. It's also very close to the subway entrance. And that building, if you see it in the sort of skyline of Vaughan, you realize that that's the highest quality building that's ever been built in Vaughan, and it's the highest quality building that's quite frankly probably been built outside of downtown Toronto. And it brings that quality and outlook and aesthetic and quality of materiality to that project. And it is it's remarkable, and it won very important award recently at the NAOP Rex Awards, which is in the office market, sign of really the market understanding that they've done something special. And we're hoping to do a lot of the things that the Smart REIT team did right on that building and translate it into Transit City, which is an incredible development that I think is going to really put the VMC and Smart Centers Place on the map from a residential standpoint.
Amazing. I mean, just working in this industry as real estate professionals, we always speak about how cities develop. We always speak about the past, of how it used to be, how it was primarily focused on industrial uses. Yeah. You're seeing that today, but the amazing thing is that we're going to be witnessing an entire development of a downtown city, which is incredible. This is the kind of thing that we geek out about.
Yeah,
we really
me
do.
Too.
Yeah, the development of an urban center, essentially. Yeah. Can you talk a bit more about the VMC in terms of its vision? A little bit more?
Yeah, I can speak maybe a little bit more specifically about the 100 acres of Smart Centers Place.
Beyond the park, because I understand there's a lot more ground level retail.
There is and it's like I said, it's been decades in the making, but there's constant tweaks and evolution to it. But I would say the central component starts with what's currently being called the Central Park, but I think may change in time. That that park, a 9-acre park, to take essentially 10% of your land, of your very valuable land, and to turn it into a park that's not just a park, it's of the level and standard that we haven't seen in Toronto before, that most publicly funded parks could never achieve, because quite frankly the cost of the design, of the infrastructure, of the quality of construction, and I wouldn't do it justice to speak to the programming of it, but and it'll be all a part of the package that we put together. But essentially, it's a park that would rival any of the best parks in the world. Would rival a Central Park in terms of different components within the park, not just open spaces, but also programmed environments for different things, concerts, venues, some water areas, things like that. That really will make it an unbelievable feature. So that everything starts in a sense with that Central Park, from a, I guess, livability, urban environment standpoint. From a density standpoint, everything starts with the transit infrastructure. So just to touch on that quite quickly, it's the last stop on the TTC subway line, or maybe the first stop, depending on how you want to look at it. From someone who wants to get a seat on the train, on the subway, it's the first stop. It's got a York Regional Bus Terminal that's immediately adjacent to Transit City. If you look at the images, you'll see it's right next door, and it's a terminal that's going to have transit infrastructure to all areas of the York region. You've got the Viva network going along Highway 7, and then you've got the 400 at your doorstep. So, in thinking about the name Transit City, really what immediately struck our mind and our psyche was that there is nowhere outside of really Union Station in downtown Toronto that has this transit infrastructure. This amount of all levels of government, municipal, provincial, and federal, the TTC, the York Regional Transit System, Viva, all have come together and basically invested in the land immediately adjacent and right in the stone's throw from Transit City. So we thought to ourselves, what's really unique about this location is you've got, if you look in the GTA, if you zoom out, when I zoomed out from my downtown Toronto map and kind of went to a broader GTA map, Vaughan, surprisingly to me, but now quite informatively, sits at the center of the GTA. So whatever part of the GTA, like Mississauga to Brampton to Newmarket to downtown, if you looked at all that, it's actually dead center. And then you've got the subway taking you south. You've got the transit infrastructure taking you east and west and north. So it's really like our tagline for the project is 43 minutes to everywhere. So there's nowhere in this city, whether you want to go to Pearson or whether you want to go down to ACC for a game or whether you want to go visit friends in Brampton or whether you want to go up to Newmarket or whatever. You can get everywhere in the city in 43 minutes. And I don't know that there's another location in the city that could actually say that, if you take a broader GTA perspective.
There's actually one other thing, the bus terminal, the connection to the subway as well.
Yeah.
There will be a direct connection.
Yeah, so Transit City, like I mentioned, is immediately adjacent to the York Regional Bus Terminal, which is a beautifully designed bus terminal that, again, speaks to the quality of the broader vision. It's the bus terminal and the subway terminal, the architecture of them are of the quality you see in European cities. So it's really taking nothing, like much better than the stuff you see in downtown Toronto, quite frankly. So again, elevating it to the next level. But as a part of that York Regional Bus Terminal, which is immediately, again, probably a 50-meter walk from the entrance of Transit City, you'd be able to enter and access the entrance to the subway. So there's an underground connection from the bus terminal to the subway. So, in the colder months, I imagine, residents of Transit City would just bop across and go down and they'd be right in the subway. Yeah.
So I'd like to speak to you about the building specifically. I know there was quite a big deal with Buca and the lobby being a 5-star lobby. Could you speak to us about that?
Yeah, it started really with an idea and a conversation we were having internally about how do we make buildings have amenities that actually matter. And when we say they matter, they impact the quality of life of the residents. They lead to higher values for owners. They lead to higher rents for investors. Things that actually residents of the building say, I live at Transit City because of this aspect of the building that really differentiates itself and adds value to their life and to their experience. And in thinking about that, we sort of thought to ourselves, well, what are the amenities we see in buildings generally that really draw value to people? And one of the concepts was the hotel lobby. And there's a lot of, a number of projects, even in the city of Toronto or around the world, that are hotel and condo components where, the lobby is like a hotel 5-star luxury lobby. And we thought if we can bring that experience into Transit City Condo, a building, we would really elevate the lobby experience of a building. And in this environment where you're right next to all the transit infrastructure, we anticipate that the majority of our owners will not own vehicles and will be commuting via all the transit infrastructure that's right there. And as a result, they'll be walking in and out of their building every day through the lobby. And so we had the idea, because of Transit City's location in Vaughan and the rich Italian heritage there in terms of the quality of some of the food experiences there, and the appreciation for that sort of cuisine, and thinking about, in our view, in our collective view as a partnership, the best Italian operator in the entire city who really elevates, in my experience, Buca is my favorite restaurant in the city, one of my favorite restaurants in the world, and Bar Buca and Buca in Yorkville. All their 3 concepts downtown are places that I think are reminiscent of going to a 5-star luxury experience in the dining setting. So we were very fortunate to be able to strike a partnership and an affiliation with Buca, where they're going to have a Buca restaurant operating in the lobby of the building, and they're also going to be operating the lobby of the condo component, which is going to be reminiscent of a lounge environment that you see in 5-star hotel lobbies in Toronto. Think the Shangri-La, the Four Seasons, the Ritz, those quality of experience in terms of aesthetic, build-out design. And it'll be operating from morning until night. So in the morning, they're going to serve coffee and pastries and all these beautiful Italian words that I don't know right now, but that I eat all the time, that are incredible. Followed by a food service and a drink service and a lounge service throughout the day. So if I'm a resident of Transit City, I'm using it in the morning, getting my coffee in and out, probably getting a pastry here or there. If I come home during the day at any point, it's an environment where I can open up my laptop, work in, get some stuff done, grab a coffee, grab a maybe an early drink, something like that, or grab a small snack. And then in the evening, it's a place I can invite friends. We can get together in my lobby, and we're going to have an amazing meal. We're going to have a drink, and it's going to be in the setting that's just literally downstairs. So it's an extension, as we think about it, of the living room within a suite, and it becomes the living room for the building. And for those that live in these sorts of buildings, there's few of them, and they're very luxury oriented. They all experience that there's a communal aspect to that lobby environment that becomes kind of an extension of their home.
And then once they've done eating, they can go to the YMCA.
Yes,
to work out.
Yeah, so this is the other really exciting thing. Again, right next to Transit City is a brand new mixed use building, a true mixed use building with PricewaterhouseCoopers, PwC, the accounting firm, is the lead anchor tenant. But in that building, there's also a 100,000 square foot YMCA, state-of-the-art, brand new facility, and a daycare, and a 10,000 square foot library. And that's going to be in a building that's starting construction any week now, that will be completed by the time Transit City's completed.
2020, I believe, right?
Yeah, I think that's the timeline for the building. And so when we looked at that and we saw we are immediately next door to this 100,000 square foot, multi-million-dollar investment into this environment, with a pool, with a basketball court, with the state-of-the-art gym facility, with, like I said, the daycare, all these components. We have potentially the single best set of fitness and life amenities right next door.
Exactly.
So when we kind of identified that, we thought we should figure out an affiliation with the YMCA, whereby all of our owners and residents of Transit City would have a membership to the YMCA included in their unit, essentially. That would be a long-term duration arrangement. And so we have fortunately come to that arrangement with the YMCA, and I think
that's amazing.
One of the first of its kind that I'm aware of, where we're really going to be sharing, as we share the details of Transit City, sharing the details of this YMCA facility that's going to be a tremendous asset to everyone that lives in the building.
It's amazing. So you get fantastic food, an amazing environment to work out.
Yeah, you got it. You eat all the food and drink the wine in the lounge, and then you work it off in the YMCA. Yeah. That's going to be one of our.
And then head downtown, grab a subway, go downtown.
Yeah, go to the Raptors game, Leafs game, whatever you want. Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit more about? So within the building itself, suite mix, that kind of thing, suite sizes.
Yeah.
I understand that there is going to be a bigger emphasis on larger suites.
Yeah. So we, as we always do, we start really planning our building and its design from the inside out.
Yeah.
We want to understand sort of what's the need for unit type in that particular location, what are owners and investors and end users looking for in terms of lifestyle, and where's the market need really, essentially. And so we studied this market in quite a bit of detail. Yeah, although we're taking a lot of our downtown focused development approach to the VMC, to Transit City, we do also have to be mindful of what the area and people in the area want. And we realized that area likes a little bit more space, or is willing to pay and is willing to sort of is desiring some more space in their suite. So in doing that, we've actually increased the typical suite size from our downtown product by about 15%, excuse me. Okay. And we're going to 15 square feet wouldn't be that much. And we're going to have a real focus on 2-bedroom units, livable 2-bedroom units, 2-bedroom plus den, and we actually have a 3-bedroom. So the vast majority are going to be that suite mix, which you could probably speak to even a little bit better than I, but it's certainly where today's market is looking for in terms of unit mix. It's kind of gone a bit of a 180 from only 5 years ago when everyone was looking for small studios. Now I think the market's naturally evolved and realized these condo units are also going to have to play a role in being replacement for ground-oriented residential, which is no longer affordable.
Yeah, wonderful. So is there anything that I've missed that you would have liked for me to have asked?
Just, I guess, next steps, timing for the project.
Sure.
So we're going to work with a handful of individuals, including yourself and your brother, to bring the project to market. We're working with Cornerstone, and they're going to have a very key role, obviously, Shab and Johnson, in sort of getting the project to market. And in the next couple of weeks, we're going to be releasing a lot of exciting information and gearing up for a launch very shortly, this spring. So stay tuned, and we hope that the market will be as excited about the project as we are. And early indications are it should be another sort of overwhelming success.
Absolutely, we're really excited about it. Thank you so much, Shamez.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.